Okay. Let me see. So I managed to catch a glimpse of the breakdancing Olympics, and I'm kind of grateful they stopped doing this shit because that was not breakdancing. That was
Mm,
not breakdancing.
I don't know what the hell it was.
Allison Stoner would have done a better job than that because that was just. Ugh. I saw Deadpool yesterday too. That was a great
Yeah,
movie. Believe it or not, that's actually the first Deadpool movie I've actually seen. Believe it or not.
I don't know. You way behind.
Yeah, cause I don't know what it's like. I like Ryan Reynolds, but at the same time, I'm not a diehard Ryan Reynolds fan. If that makes sense. Nothing against him though. He's a good actor, but hmm. he's like Keanu Reeves. It's like he just got popular out of nowhere and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Yeah. What else? What else? But yeah, I am going to see a couple more movies. Like these upcoming months, man. These movies are gonna come rolling out and shit. Thinking about seeing this movie called The Forge next week. What else? What else? What else? What else? You heard that new LL Cool J song?
mm.
Shit.
Uncle Freezy was good. He said Juice is overrated. Oh man,
Is he trolling or is he serious?
I mean, you never know with Unc. You never know.
Yeah,
I don't
cause I
know.
see that. Cause I honestly sometimes I see the LOL. I thought he was just trying to troll you for a minute, but
No,
but to each his own. Fuck
he
it.
doesn't do that.
I feel like loving basketball is overrated. So shit.
I love Juice. I think it's a classic though. That's just me.
It's like a hood thriller.
Yo, it's a hood thriller.
That's what I think. Yeah, cause it's like
That's the first time I. That's the first time I heard that.
really.
Yeah, I never heard nobody call it that.
Yeah, because think about it, like the first 30 to 40 minutes, it's like generic hood movie. I don't use the word generic. I'm like the typical hood movie, right? Once Bishop pulled that trigger, they just turned that shit into a thriller movie and some shit. Hell, if it
Okay.
wasn't for Juice, we might not have had Tales from the Hood. Let's be real.
I just thought it was a. I just thought it was a hood movie, but it was a good one.
Yeah, like it's like the more I watch certain movies, like growing up, like the more I watch certain movies, like growing up, you just got like a whole new different
Oh,
perspective on certain shit.
that Tales from Crypt was. I mean, Tales from the Hood was a horror.
Yeah, it
You
was
know,
horror thriller. Yeah, I
that's all of
mean,
them.
yeah. You never seen that sequel, did you?
No, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, don't.
I just saw, I saw the trailer and it just looked bad once I saw the trailer.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
Yeah,
You know.
they waited too long to do it.
Yeah. Now I heard they're making a Beetlejuice too. I'm like, what? Like, no. Q said, which one do you prefer, juice or above the rim? That's a good question. I'm gonna have to go with juice to an extent. What about you, Troy? Let me tell you, this final Olympics is getting. I don't even want to watch the Olympics like that, man. Once I saw them Australians breakdancing, I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Like, this is what Fred Berry and Shabba-Doo dance for, right? This is what. And it's bad enough. Fucking Tyrese is going to sing the national anthem dressed up like Marvin Gaye. I don't even know. I sent you that shit on the group me. I don't know what that shit was. Right, this nigga's still active. Okay. No, it's not like Marvin Gaye. Don't no. That's just Tyrese trying to get attention as usual. Like October London's already trying to be Marvin Gaye of this generation. We don't need a Tyrese Gay at this point. We don't need that. And trash frozen. Great. Yeah, that Hear My Dear album is classic. That's my favorite Marvin Gaye album too. Fuck. You say you feel like the In Our Lifetime album is better than What's Going On? I don't know if I'll go that far, but I see what you're saying. I don't know if I'll go that far. That's the first I've heard something like that.
StreamYard tripping.
Huh?
It says StreamYard is tripping.
What else is new? It's like whenever I come on to these streaming sites, I gotta close all the applications I'm not using and stuff like that now because it's a stupid ass bit rate. So Travis Scott got arrested for assaulting a security guard. Wow. Okay. What is up with these stupid niggas getting arrested for some stupid shit? Nelly arrested for ecstasy. This nigga arrested for beating security guards and shit.
They make stupid music and you get locked up. That's all. You know.
And then you heard about the Kanye West thing, right? How they said that his dentist is like supplying him with some pills.
Yeah. Which is crazy to me. Well, we know he was on drugs, so
Yeah, I was like, I heard about this shit years ago somewhere. I didn't think it was true though. They trying to Michael Jackson this nigga. So oh shit. Nah, I'm being dead ass. I'm not even trying to be funny.
not Michael Jackson.
I'm really not trying to be funny, but okay.
Wow.
It's kind of sad if you think about it. I mean, say what you want to say about Kanye, but no one should go out like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you heard me because your thing was cutting off. But I heard that LL was song with Saweetie. I actually like that shit, believe it or not. I mean, I didn't care for Sweetie's part like that though, but LL was on some doing it.
Q-Tip can make anybody sound good, so that's just what it is.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
You know, the video's out already.
yeah, I know.
You know, Q-Tip can make anybody sound great, so props to him.
I'm actually hyped about this album, to be real with you.
I don't know what to expect. I'm not hyped for it. I don't know because LL ain't dropped nothing good in 20-something years. So
I just have a strong feeling with this one. I have a strong feeling.
Is it the Force? The Force is calling you?
Huh? Is it what?
The Force is calling you? I think it's the Force.
Hey, it's something, but I remember when I first heard the singles for like the Exit 13 or whatever, I was like, ugh, I don't know about this, L. I don't know about this, boy. But I feel like I don't want to say like he's gonna automatically be I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a classic, but at the same time,
classic.
Let me explain.
Classic. He have a classic since
1980. Nigga, let me explain. But I feel like it will be a new direction. That's what I'm trying to say.
A new direction?
Yeah. I mean, I still have faith for LL. I still have faith. All right. Well, I think I talked about everything I had to talk about, so I'm ready to get into this whenever you are.
Let's go.
What's up, YouTube? How's everyone doing this lovely, lovely day? This is Sunday night, the perfect night to watch us. You know what I'm saying? If you want to end off this weekend right, it's your boy Reg in the building. I got my partner in crime, Tribero, with me and shit like that. These flies, fuck. All right, and so that's why. Sorry if I'm swatting. There's some gnat I'm trying to kill right now, but so on this day in hip hop, it's going to be kind of special. We're not going to talk about an album. We're not going to talk about a single. We're going to actually talk about the birth of hip hop. On August 11th, 1973, DJ Kool Herc and his sister wanted to actually organize a back to school fund. You know what I'm saying? And so they had this little block party and everything like that where Kool Herc was going to be the DJ and his sister was going to actually, get the word around the neighborhood and stuff like that too. So they brought in a lot of like teenagers and shit like that because at the time, you had people like, breakdancing and beatboxing and all that shit too. You know what I'm saying? And so they had a little block party at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. His sister is by the name of Cindy Campbell and whatnot too. And so the entry charge is 50 cents for boys and a quarter for girls. Over 300 people showed up, and pretty much they brought in a lot. It was like a whole melting pot of culture from Jamaican influences with the New York influences as well too, with the breakdance and the break beats and the DJing and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? And 51 years later, this is known as the hip hop music, pretty much. Now, the reason why I'm pretty much talking about this is because of the whole recent controversy of, hip hop started in this, hip hop started here, hip hop started in Puerto Rico, hip hop started in China, hip hop started in Australia. It's all this stupid shit. I just want to point to you point blank period. Hip hop started August 11th, 1973 in the Bronx. It didn't start in no Jamaica. It didn't start in no Caribbeans and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why all of a sudden this is all of a sudden a huge issue right now. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't see this with fucking rock music. You don't see this with metal music. You don't see Black Sabbath arguing with fucking Iron Maiden, talking about metal started in this part of England or some shit like that too. But when it comes to our culture and whatnot, when it comes to our culture, motherfuckers want to whitewash it all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I know we've talked about this a lot, and I don't want to rehash because if I repeat everything over and over again, I go insane and everything like that too. So I just want to dedicate this on this day in hip hop to the original creation, how I was known. Hip hop started off. And yes, Q, I know Off the Wall turned 45 yesterday. Today's we're gonna do something with hip hop today. I know that. Shout out to Off the Wall, classic album, but I just want to get your opinion on the birth of hip hop from you and shit too.
My opinion on it, I mean, it's the greatest thing ever, the greatest movement for Black people on this planet. You know, it's come so far. I remember, being 4 or 5 years old and going to the record store every weekend or every other weekend with my mom, and you know, um, listening. My first cassette was Houdini, the One Love,
Ooh,
the One Love cassette single with the different mixes and the different clips from that was a Back in Black album.
class. That's my favorite album too.
Yeah, and it started from there. You know what I'm saying? And getting UTFO when they had the Real Roxanne this record, on that album, and when Run DMC came out with Raising Hell, Curtis Blow when he came out with If I Rule the World, and every year it was just getting bigger and bigger, and we got better artists, changing the game, Rakim and
Yes.
LL and Cool G Rap, Will Smith, Kane, all of them. You know what I'm saying? And it was just fun to be able to go to the record store and buy these albums. Turn on the radio and hear your favorite song being played. And I've seen it come from the park jams to where it's at now. It's $1 billion industry, and it's provided jobs for people. And we just had an Olympics in Paris where hip hop was there. Having Snoop Dogg be a part of it, and Flavor Flav, and break dancing as an event. I never thought I would see that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We used to break dance on the ground, on the concrete with the cardboard, that was like our little cushioning, if you want to call that. You know what I'm saying? And then to see breakdancing at an Olympic event is like, it's just crazy to me. You know what I mean? And
I wish they picked better breakdancers. That's another story for a different day.
it's come so far, man. Like, it went through so many different phases, and we lost a lot of legends over this music. You know what I'm saying? Whether they had health issues or they had, beef in the streets or with artists, we lost a lot of legends that dedicated their life and time and sacrificing their family for this shit. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I take this shit seriously. Like all this, you know, media gossip and clickbait that people are doing, I ain't for it. There's no business in this culture,
Right.
and at the end of the day, it's about beats and rhymes. That's what I'm about. And if you're only talking about it, I don't want no part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I it's too many times where I've seen legends live and in person, and they're no longer here. You know, seeing Biggie Smalls in '96 on the stage.
That's crazy.
6 months later, he's in the coffin, and I was there. You know what I'm saying? Big Pun, seeing him on stage. He's no longer here. Left Eye. You know, Coolio. Like it's too many legends that's dedicated their time and their blood, sweat, and tears to this culture. And I'll be damned if I'm gonna ever disrespect it by talking about some fucking gossip. You know, I remember many times cutting class in high school just to go to the record store. You know what I'm saying? Just to go to the record store to buy the newest album from the Artifacts or from the Youngsters or from P Rock and CO Smooth. And I take this shit seriously. Like if you do not call yourself no hip hop head around me, if you're not taking this shit seriously. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm about. This is my fucking life. And that's what it is. And we need, you know, real heads of this culture to keep it the way to keep it all about hip hop and not let it get into some TMZ Access Hollywood bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where I see a lot of these platforms heading, and is taken away from the actual talent and what people really want to hear from these artists. They don't want to hear about who they sleeping with and you know what stupid shit they had to sing on their live stream. They want to hear their music. That's what got them to the dance.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And without that, they wouldn't be relevant. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it comes down to: beats and rhymes, and we got to keep it like that. And there's still heads that I associate myself with that keep it that way, and that's who I choose to align myself with. Anybody else outside of that that's not for this culture and they want to try to get rich and famous and they want to talk about bullshit that got nothing to do with the music, miss me with that. I'm really not in it. I don't care about all that. I'm not in it for that shit, and I don't want people like that around me. I want only the real hip hop heads around me. If you talking on that fucking Sexy Red, Sexy Red, what she did on her live stream and Cardi B beef and miss me with that. Do not care. I truly do not give no fucks about that. You know what I'm saying? This culture has gone through so many changes and it's become a $1 billion industry and it can't fall into the wrong hands ever. Because this is the shit that we started from the streets, from the park jams, you know, and it has to remain like that. It did not last 51 years by focusing on bullshit outside of the studio and what these artists are doing in their personal lives. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares. It's
Right.
about what you're bringing to the table, what's your contribution to hip hop, and how are you going to be remembered. That's what I care about. You know what I'm saying? So, in order for this culture to last, to go into another 51 years, that's the way it got to be. And we need those gatekeepers to make sure it stays that way. And I'm one of those gatekeepers, and I'm definitely gonna make sure it stay that way.
I respect that 100%, bro. Now, I want to ask you one thing before we get to
Mhm.
this review. Do you feel like in recent years the gatekeepers have also been detriment to the hip hop culture? Let me ask
They,
you that.
the gatekeepers also got to know that there's a disconnect with the old school, and there's a disconnect with the new generation, and there has to be a happy medium where both generations meet in the middle. Because for the old heads, I know how they feel and where they're coming from, because I feel what they feeling, but at the same time, they need to understand that it's the young kids' time. It's their time to do their thing and to shine. Just like it was when we were coming out, when our artists from the 80s and 90s were coming out, and people didn't understand what they were coming out with. You had all these naysayers feeling like hip hop was a passing fad; it would never last. We got hip hop at the Olympics. If that doesn't show people the power of this culture, then I don't know what will. You know what I'm saying? Because back in 51 years ago, you could never, nobody would ever think that hip hop would be at the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? The older heads have to understand that it's the young kids' time now. It's their time. You know what I'm saying? When we had rookies on the block like Onyx or MOP or Lords of the Underground, it was their time. It was their time to shine. You know what I'm saying? And the older heads like a Cool Herc and a Treacherous 3, they had to really understand, like, yo, like, it's these kids' time to shine. That's with any generation. You know what I'm saying? The young kids need to understand though that without a Force MDs, without a Bone Thugs and Harmony, there would be no Migos. So for Billboard magazine to include Migos on top 10 rap groups of all time, they're fucking crazy. They would never make my list on any in any decade. You know what I'm saying? The young kids need to know their history because if you call yourself a hip hop head and you're coming into this culture and you want to be an artist, you got to know who these legends are. That is what it is. Especially if you're sampling from them. A lot of them sample shit and they don't know where the fuck they getting the sample from. You know what I'm saying? Once you come into this culture, you better know your shit. I don't care how old you are. You could be whether you 6, 16, 60, whatever. And that's what I'm not seeing from the younger generation. They don't know their history. And it's like either they don't care or they refuse to hear it. But at some point there has to be a happy medium between both older and new generations.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Because like it was taught to us coming up, we had to know who Grandmaster Kaz was and Cool Herc and Red Alert and Keras One and Africa Mbata. We have to know who these legends was. They're the forefathers. And what's that saying they say? If you don't know your past, you won't know your future. They say that shit in school. The same applies to hip hop. If you don't know who these artists are, you're not gonna have no future in this culture. And I refuse to debate with anybody. Under there's some older heads that I refuse to debate without also, but especially the young heads who feel like social media is like their safety net. They feel like they could just say any ludicrous shit to people. I ain't that nigga. If you come at me, you better know what the fuck you talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've been on this planet for many years. I've seen a lot of legends that only people could dream of. That people can only fucking hear about it, and they see clips of them on YouTube. I lived it. You know what I'm saying? So there got to be a happy medium with the older generation and the younger generation, and that's the only way it's gonna be any type of harmony. Where we can move forward together and not have this you know old head versus youngin. I see it all the time on even with that list that came out with Billboard and these top was they had top 20 groups and they got Migos at like number 11. I'm seeing that right now in the comments with young and against old, and it's like for the young heads, yeah, Migos is their only group that they know because all the other groups are gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Either to tragedy or they just broke up and people went their separate ways. But you you for you if you feel like Migos is the best group ever, then you're missing out on a shitload of other groups that's better than them. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you think Migos started, they didn't. You know what I'm saying? It was done many decades ago. Whatever you think Drake started, he didn't. It was done many decades ago before Drake. You know what I'm saying? So they, like I said, they got to know their history. And who better to teach their history but older heads like myself and many others? Because none of those Ivy League schools, like they want to have seminars at Princeton and Yale, and none of them Ivy League schools are gonna teach you your fucking culture like your own people. That is what
Right.
it is. Like, I don't need a college degree to teach somebody that's 13, 14 this culture. I already lived it, still living it.
Yeah,
You
you're
know
right
what I'm
about that.
saying?
Definitely.
So this culture needs the older heads in it to make sure that it lasts 100 years and on forward. Because without us, these kids are gonna be lost.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, you're right about that. You're definitely right about that. And so I know what you guys are asking. How come we're doing it on this day in hip hop when we're doing an R&B review? Well, that's a very good question because the group we're going to talk about in our next Artist Sunday started off as a hip hop group, but at the same time, they were pretty much one of the first, maybe the first premier act to really combine the hip hop elements and the R&B elements. And the group that we are going to talk about today is the Force MDs with their album Love Letters. Now, we pushed this review back a couple of times. Time constraints, bullshit, all that. I took a break and stuff like that. So this really was not planned. I really did not actually plan to say, hey, I'm going to talk about this on the 51st anniversary of hip hop. The stars just aligned, and all of a sudden, boom, we're talking about this album. But I'm actually glad we're actually going to talk about it because, mind you, this album came out on Tommy Boy Records. I'm going to get more into Tommy Boy in a minute, but you guys should know Tommy Boy had acts like De La, Queen Latifah, Coolio. That's like one of the influential hip hop labels, but it's also one of the most controversial hip hop labels too. You know what I'm saying? But that's another story for a different day. But this album came out September 21st, 1984 on Tommy Boy Records. The Force MDs consist of members such as TC, Mercury, DJ Dr. Rock, Sean Waters, Trisco, Jesse D, Damian Haywood, Stevie D, Khalil Azim Capers. Yeah. Um, TC and Khalil, them being brothers and stuff like that too, just letting y'all know. Alright, so try, talk to me. How did you get into that
Well,
Force piece?
I just happen to have for some these the touring single for Forgive Me Girl. I mean for Let Me Love You actually.
Okay.
And like I said, like when hip hop for me, my introduction was, you know, Houdini, and Curtis Blow and Force MDs was right there. And I remember I remember getting this record first of all at the Wiz back in the day. Nobody beats the Wiz, old record store that's no longer around. Um, when I had my first Walkman, and even back then, before the Source magazine and all that, I had my own, homemade, mixtape, and just putting some of my favorite records on cassette. Whether it was Madonna or Michael, Prince, Wham, Force MDs. I had my own little mixtape, and this song "Let Me Love You" was on that. And I remember going to a Sesame Place, real old shit. Yeah, I know people don't even remember that. Sesame Street had their own amusement park. And I was in kindergarten. I had a school trip to Sesame Place, and I remember just going on that bus ride, and my mom was with me, and having that mixtape, and hearing. the Force MDs songs, and they were just dope. You know what I'm saying? Like they could all sing, harmonize, and then they could kick a rap, and it was like over hip hop beats, and then they did like R&B stuff if they wanted to. They working with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis later on for that was it Lovers a House. I got
Yeah.
that out too on vinyl, and that was one of their best albums, and they were just dope. It wasn't nothing that was done before. You know what I'm saying? Like they had their own lane. Like they were different from of Run DMC. They were different from Treacherous 3 or Houdini or UTFO. Salt and Pepper. They were just different. And even in their videos, and you look at them, like they all like were dressed the same. They had like their little dance moves. Like New Edition reminds me of them, except like New Edition was more R&B than hip hop, but they got the respect from the hip hop community.
We'll get into New Edition too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and they were like a group, like they were in step with all their dance moves and just harmonizing vocally together, and they were just a dope a dope group that I feel like people don't give them their flowers for whatever reason. I don't know why, because I mean people are so quick to give Drake his flowers and Future, and none of these motherfuckers started that shit. They were doing shit that was already done before they even came along. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's mind boggling how people will be quick to give Drake his flowers but not Force MDs. I don't understand it. But they were just dope, and I did a show 2 years ago. I did a show with the Go Getter TV. Shout out to Demi. Check him out on YouTube. And I purposely made sure that I included this record because they don't get their recognition, and I wanted to really put the spotlight on them, like to remind people, like before Drake, before Bone Thugs and Domino and all your favorite rappers that was doing that sing songy shit. Force MD started that. They were doing that way before these motherfuckers were born. You know what I'm saying? And I did that on purpose to make sure that people were aware of that. You know, and they were just, when I hear Force MDs, it always brings me back to the 80s. Like 80s rap was totally different from the 90s and 2000s and so on. You know what I'm saying? And it just takes me back to that time when I was a kid, with my Walkman and just listening to like hip hop in its purest form. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like yeah, like rapping is great, but if you have the talent to harmonize and rap, why not include that in your songs? And they did that, you know, just as well as anybody else that tried to do it. So
Definitely. That's dope. That's dope.
yeah,
Um, I heard the song "Love Is a House." I want to say that was my introduction to them, and I think I heard this on Music Choice. And when, if you guys remember, like if you guys like have like Time Warner or Spectrum, sometimes they'll have like these Music Choice. I know they'll have these music. I don't know if they still do it now, but
right,
they'll have like these Music Choice channels. But like, let's just say it's like in the 900s or the thousands. You'll have like Music Choice Hip Hop, Music Choice R&B, Music Choice set 1970s, right?
right,
So I remember one time I was jamming and stuff like that too, and I saw Force MDs and I was like, what group is this? And they had like the sweater vest and the 50s attire and shit like that. And the song "Love Is a House," which we'll talk about that weeks down the line. You know what I'm saying? That was always a dope ass song, and I always liked how they definitely combined the doo wop with the contemporary R&B at the time, mixed in with like some of the hip hop elements and stuff like that too. You
mhm,
know what I'm saying? I mean, I've always felt like they were very underrated,
yeah,
but at the same time too, they went through a lot of shit. It's
mhm,
like, ugh, I don't even want to talk about it all the way through. 'Cause I really want to focus on the music and the happiness it brings and everything. But I definitely feel like with the Force MDs, they're a very key integral part when it comes to the marriage between hip hop and R&B. Especially years down the line too.
Right.
Like that, mind you, a lot of the shit they were doing in '84 and '85, cats weren't really doing till like '93, '94 and
Right.
whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? And
Domino. People love Domino.
oh,
Domino was fire.
let's talk about Domino.
He was on Def Jam. Yes.
Big quality.
Guy and Ghetto Jam and Tales from the Hood. He was great. But he did not start that style of what he was doing with the rapping and the singing. He did not start that. Force MD was doing that before him. And Domino got more promotion because he was on a high profile label like Def Jam. A lot of these, some of our favorite legends in hip hop, they got screwed over by janky ass labels.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like Tommy Boy Records. How many artists on Tommy Boy got screwed over besides De La Soul and Queen Latifah? Naughty by Nature. I'm pretty sure House of Pain got screwed over. Coolio, rest in peace. All of them cats were on Tommy Boy, and Tommy Boy was a shitty label. Select Records, another one. Sleeping Bag Records, another one. There's so many janky ass labels that a lot of these artists were on, and they got screwed over out of money and royalties and all that shit.
It's sad to think about it too.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's has something to do with why a lot of them wasn't as big as certain artists. You know what I'm saying? And it's really fucked up. It's a fucked up industry. But that's why we have these platforms to make sure they get their flowers now. Don't wait till
Exactly.
they drop dead to get them their flowers.
Exactly. Yeah. So grateful we're doing this one. All right. So for those who don't know who the Force MDs are or were, they are R&B hip hop group that was originally named the LDs. They consist of brothers Stevie D, TC, and Khalil, and also their uncle Jesse Lee. You know what I'm saying? I think he like, yeah, yeah, Jesse Lee. Yeah. They also had friends Trisco and Charles, who was known as Mercury and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they consist of like singers, dancers, rappers, beatboxers, and everything like that too. And what was also interesting about the Force MDs was the fact that they were very influenced by like doo-wop, like Flamingos, Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, and so on and so on. You know what I'm saying? And they used to perform like in Times Square, like performing in street corners and everything like that too. And they also connected with this DJ named Dr. Rock, and that's when became known as Dr. Rock and the Force MCs. You know what I'm saying? And so they actually got discovered by a promoter by the name of Van Silk, and pretty much with them and everything like that too. He took it back by like the doo-woppy style, the singing and the rapping and everything like that too. And one of the things that made him also interested was that they had a lyrical battle against the Cold Crush Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Cold Crush Brothers, you guys should know. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Cold Crush Brothers, they were the lyrical masterminds at the time. They were like among the most lyrical at that time, next to Treacherous Three, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Because while a lot of the groups were still influenced by disco, Cold Crush Brothers had like 8 or 9 MCs rapping simultaneously. Like they were like the precursor to the Wu-Tang Clan,
Right.
if you ask me. And Grandmaster Caz is one of the best writers and MCs that you probably never heard of.
Right.
And you know what was one of the best known things he wrote? To the hip hop, the hip hop,
Yeah.
you don't stop. Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight.
Rappers of Light, another one.
Yeah,
Great.
that episode deserves a wider beef one day because, boy, the controversy of that song alone,
Right.
that's another story. But anyway, so he liked them and he got them a deal with Tommy Boy Records.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only going to put you guys in perspective because we've talked about Tommy Boy Records with artists like De La Soul, Queen Latifah. We
Right.
talked about Naughty by Nature, Coolio, Capone and Noriega, for God's sakes. these cats was among the first acts on Tommy Boy Records and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? And you got to remember too, Tommy Boy. This was like the success of them really got them like Warner got them like the partnership with Warner Brothers and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Jesus Christ, it's getting on my nerves. And so they got them a deal and they started recording the album. That year they changed the name just simply the Force MDs, and the MD stood for musical diversity and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? And this led to in 1984 them coming out with their album Love Letters. Now, it's crazy how I mentioned Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers because I was watching the Unsung episode. Very great Unsung episode. I highly recommend watching that. And they said that they were pretty much influenced by the album cover for the Why the Fools Fall in Love album and stuff like that too. So this definitely gives like late 50s, early 60s vibe and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So definitely love this. Singles this album was known for. It came out with a few singles. Let Me Love You, Tears, Forgive Me Girl, and Itching for a Scratch.
All my favorite songs on here.
Yes. Producers. Give me 1 second. From what I'm looking up, producers include Tom Silverman. You also have Mr. Magic. Yes, that Mr. Magic doing some co-production and stuff like that too. Keith LeBlanc. This album does not have a Wikipedia, so I'm going on Discogs, just letting you guys know
Right.
for that too. You know, but certain albums I wish they would have a Wikipedia on, but hey, fuck it. I still was able to find a good research on the album, so whatever. But yeah, so this album has 8 tracks. We're gonna get started with the first track called "Be Mine." Very dope track. This one is a great example of their way of combining the R&B of the time, mixing with the early hip hop at the time too. Love the scratches, love the uses of the drum machine and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a nice party record and everything. You know what I'm saying? Not mad about this track.
Yeah, this was dope. Definitely like the beat for this. You know, you got some rapping, some dope raps on here as well, and this was fire.
Fire ass track indeed. Track number two, and I really can't wait to hear your opinion on this one. Don't Make Me Dance All Night Long. So once again,
Oh Lord.
having the reggae experience coming to a lot of black acts at this time, and
Man.
Force MDs was no different. You know what I'm saying? This is actually my least favorite track on this album. You know what I'm saying? I was surprised it was a second track. Like, I was surprised it was because usually with a lot of these acts, they'll try to hide it within like the last couple of tracks, saying, "Hey, we're just gonna throw in a reggae track just to get more airplay and stuff like that too." It's like once Stevie Wonder came out with Master
That
Blaster,
was it.
motherfucker want to do a reggae
He
track.
gave
I'm
them
sorry.
hope.
And the way how Stevie did it, it was
Yeah.
like a tribute to Bob Marley.
Right.
Like you had the Gap Band doing it. You had motherfucking who else? Stessa Sonic.
Yeah.
I'm the old dad.
DJ
But that was
Quick.
that was fire though. That was fire.
Yeah. DJ Quick
DJ Quick. Um,
is a lot.
yeah, so many we can count. We
Yeah.
might have to do an episode about that one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't care for this one.
This one should not have been on the album. Like this was this was a mistake. Jump. The reggae beat on there was awful.
Oh my god.
The I want to say it was what's his name, Jesse D. He
Yeah.
was doing the accent, the Jamaican accent, and he's singing. That was bad.
Oh lord.
And you know, I get it. Like reggae and hip hop go hand in hand, but there was a lot of hip hop artists during the 80s and 90s that should not have been trying to make a reggae song. And Force MDs unfortunately was one of them. And yeah, this one is probably the only song on here that I didn't like. This was just a skip for me.
Me too. Wow, we actually agree on something.
It was that bad.
Yeah, it was that bad.
Yeah.
This made me want to listen to Sonics the Oh Dad, man. I feel
Lord, I didn't like that one either. No, they don't get a
Oh
pass on
Dad
that either. No,
forget. Daddy Yo was I'm sorry, Daddy Yo was killing that track. He was
no, he was not. He knew
what
that
you got,
the album
that
was
part where he
great.
like
They don't get a pass for that song.
that
Okay,
part where he like
I
la
love
la
DJ Quick.
la la.
DJ Quick is one of the best producers, rappers all time. But the reggae shit that he did was no. That was a no go for me. No,
You know what
leave it
kills me?
alone. If you're not a, this is why dancehall artists and reggae artists do their thing, and rappers did their thing. You cannot do both.
You know
Okay,
what?
Drake tried to do that, and look what happened to him. He bouncing from genre to genre, and stick to what you know, what you do best.
You know what killed me about when niggas try to do reggae and shit like that?
Uh,
They always had to do them ad like la 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 la. Just
no, no. And then on top of that, remember Death Row used, you know, Pac used Prince Idol Joe a lot,
yeah.
and I don't know what the fuck he was. I'm like, because he sounded reggae, but he really ain't. You know what I'm saying?
NWA is always into something. Boom,
Yeah,
boom, 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 boom.
yeah, no, no. You know, Ice Cube had was it Don Jaguar he had on that on Wicked, that Wicked song?
Is that boy Ice Cube on the track?
I love Wicked. That's a classic song. The video was classic, but nah, I did like no. Stop. If
Is
you're
that
not
boy
a
Ice?
dancehall artist or reggae artist, stop trying to sound like them.
Oh my god. Is that wicked boy Ice Cube in the building?
Jesus.
Oh, I'm gonna say one more.
Um,
H Town Bus One. The bedroom down
yeah,
the bus one.
no.
He's in the kitchen. Now I was like,
Yeah.
yo, that was actually fire the way they used
You
that
like
shit.
that? Mike, what's up?
Yo, Mike was
No,
good, nigga.
no, no.
But anyway, let's go to the next track because we gotta talk about one of my favorites on this
Yeah.
album,
Mm-hmm.
Tears.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, this is like the first classic song they've ever had. B like
Mm-hmm.
this song right here, B.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is when TC came out. He was like, "Look, I'm gonna put this Smokey Robinson comedy." He was like the Smokey Robinson of this time, man. Like he was like the Little Anthony. No, that's the right one, Little Anthony.
Well, Anthony, yeah.
Little Anthony. Which if
Yeah.
y'all know Little Anthony, y'all better look him up and shit. But this
Mm-hmm.
generation, they know falsettos and shit. They don't know. They don't know. Let me stop, man. Let me stop, man. I'm from the. Let me stop. I act like I'm from that generation too.
Yeah, but you know your shit.
Yeah, I
That's
know. I
cool.
know my shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this song was what made TC one of the best motherfuckers ever, and stuff like that. The way he started off that verse, like as the sun sets
Mm-hmm.
and the night goes around, like
Yeah.
so romantic. Like he was just floating and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
tears, tears falling like the rain.
He did
Boy,
his,
killed that shit. You
he
know what
did
I'm
his
saying?
thing. For
He
sure.
did his thing. TC, rest in peace, man. And yeah, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Y'all gonna hear me give this motherfucker a lot of love throughout these whole Force MD reviews and shit. And yes, we're gonna do all the Force MD's albums. Not
Yeah.
we ain't gonna cut it off like we're gonna do the Chris Browns and shit. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't got time for them triple albums, but
Oh Lord.
yeah. But yeah, Tears. This is actually my favorite track on the album.
Yeah, I mean, this was a great ballad. Like it was, TC did his thing. Definitely killed it vocally, and that's what I'm saying. Like they could do ballads, they could do hip hop, they could do mid tempo, any type of song that you wanted, they could have did it. So
Dope, dope. Yeah, next song. Let me love you, baby, all night. Let me love you. Oh, already
yes,
with the classics. Come on.
yes, yes.
This is another one of the signature classics right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Another classic, clean example of the light hip hop beat. You know what I'm saying? With the doo-woppy vocals and everything. That's another thing. I was gonna say this in the intro because I wrote this down on my notes, but I forgot them at work.
Uh,
If it wasn't for Foursome, this is a hot take, R&B hot take. If it wasn't for Foursome D's, we would not have Boys to Men.
really? I thought you would have said if it wasn't for New Edition, we would have Boys to Men.
Well,
Like literally, my
technically
boys
yes,
discovered them. So
technically yes,
you
but
know what I mean?
I'm saying because sound wise, like vocal wise,
Right.
if you just take the hip hop element out and stuff like that, because Boys to Men also had that doo-woppy
Yeah.
feel, but they were more attuned to like the Motown vocal group. They were more
Right.
Motown, which of course they were signed to Motown, but
Right.
still,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, Motown Philly,
Hmm.
I can see fucking Temptations doing that shit
Right.
back in the '60s and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But for some D's, I feel like vocally they always had a special texture when it came to like their vocal training. Like they can invoke emotion.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like "Let Me Love You" in a way vocally kind of reminds me of "Water One's Dry" from Boys to Men in a weird way.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what
Never
I'm
heard that,
saying?
but that's
Hey, I mean, look, I know my shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But this one right here is a dope track right here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, love the production on this. Mr. Magic, of course, doing the DJing on this one. Rest in peace to Mr. Magic and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, classic.
Yeah. This is my introduction to them was this song, and the beat was fire, the vocals, even like there's like many different like mixes of it. It's like vocally they had like the different like the way like the beat breaks down, and it you can hear the vocals from each member on the track, and how they harmonized on the song, and it's just a dope love song. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a dope hip hop love song. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's a classic record.
Yes, I agree with you about that.
I talked about that when we first started, Mike. That they're very underrated. There's hip hop heads that I know that really didn't take them seriously. I mean, like everything can't be bought up. You know what I'm saying? Like yes, Cool G Rap and LL, Kane and Rakim were great, but you had heads that started out in this that didn't have the depth, rhyme wise like them. You know what I'm saying? And it was more about when you have party jams. It was more about like who can keep the crowd's attention at the park jam or at the party. You know what I'm saying? And you have those artists that was like their thing. You know what I'm saying? And you know some of those artists would harmonize, and Force MDs fit in that category. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just more like a '80s thing. There's people that don't care for '80s rap, and they think that hip hop started in the '90s, and those are the ones that I don't care to fuck with. Because if you totally ignore a whole decade and you think hip hop started with Wu-Tang Clan and Onyx, then something's wrong with you. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So '80s rap needs more recognition. I'm tired of seeing posts about '90s. Yes, '90s were great. The golden era was great, but '80s rap. If it wasn't for '80s rap, there would be no '90s rap. You know what I'm saying? And
Preach.
and, and a lot of our legends that we put on that top 10 all time or Mount Rushmore like a Rakim. Guess where he came from? The '80s. He didn't start in the '90s. G Rap, Will Smith, LL. They all came from the '80s, and it's just crazy how people would just totally ignore that era and go straight to the '90s. But Force MDs to me definitely needs more recognition, and they are hip hop. Okay, they're hip hop, and they did R&B, and like I said, they could do both. You know what I'm saying? Is that was their thing. You know what I'm saying? Way before motherfuckers put Drake as the poster boy for that style. He didn't start that shit.
Yeah, you said it. You perfectly said it well, bro. Like I couldn't agree with you more.
See, I'm an '80s baby, so I can't ignore that whole decade that I grew up in just for the 90s. So it's always I'm always gonna include 80s artists in the discussion. But even when it comes to top 10 all time, two or three of them are gonna be on my list. LL Cool J is gonna be on my list.
Mm.
Kane is gonna definitely be on my list. You know, G Rap, KRS One, they definitely got to be in that discussion. It can't just be about Nas and Jay Z.
Mm. People will know the hard way, bro. But watch somebody samples one of the Force MD songs, they're gonna be all over their dick and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, let's no, not then they're gonna want to go back to Force MDs. Man, we are telling you all this years ago.
Mhm.
You know,
Shit, people are funny. You just gotta realize that shit. There it is. Okay. All right. Next track. Where we at? Itching for a scratch. Now I'm gonna be real with you guys. When I first heard this track, I thought this shit was the corniest shit I've ever heard. I'm gonna be real. Like I felt like it was like a novelty track for some shit, like some shit Mr. T would have done or some bullshit. I don't know. But now I don't dislike it as much, but I can appreciate it. It's a feel good, loving kind of track and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's not one of my favorites, but I don't dislike it as much.
it's a brilliant concept song because they're talking about both. They're talking both about AIDS and they're talking about actually scratching like for a DJ. So I like the tongue in cheek
Oh,
the tongue in cheek
see,
humor that they had for that song.
wow. Okay, now, see, now I'm
You gotta
sold. I
pay
was like,
attention to what they're actually saying. Like the lyrics that they're saying. It's like a double entendre for both. You know, when rap really wasn't. I felt like it wasn't really focused on AIDS awareness until Salt and Pepper. But you have
yeah,
those songs. You have those songs that they talked about it, but it wasn't highlighted. Like Jungle Brothers had a song like that. You know what I'm saying? Careless One. You know what I'm saying? And when you listen to this song, it's like when they say, I woke up this morning itching bad. I wanted to scratch. I was going mad. You're in trouble, son. I know for sure, because what you got there ain't no cure. So take this beat, go home and scratch, but stay away from me because it's easy to catch. So they talking about both scratching as the DJ and catching something. You know what I'm saying? But they did it cleverly, and that's what I like. That's what I like. Like that takes skill. You know what I'm saying? They ain't just put anything out there like, oh, this is just another song, and it was done dope. It was done cleverly. You got to really pay attention to lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Because
wow,
lyrics matter. Lyrics matter. Lyrics still matter. When I hear, especially for this generation where they don't give a fuck about lyrics, lyrics matter to me. I can't listen to no artist that supposedly is an MC or rapper and not hear their lyrics. The lyrics I gotta hear. The beat could be fire, and that might be the only good thing about it. But I gotta hear what they actually saying because if they saying some bullshit, then I'm not looking at them like they one of the best to do it. If I listen to Benny or Conway, I want to hear what the fuck they saying. I don't care what beat that Damager gave them or Alchemist. If they ain't saying shit on the track, it don't mean nothing.
right.
You know what I'm saying? When you hear Black Thought, you pay attention to Black Thought. Black Thought in any song, he have something to say. Whether it's on his own shit or the roots or a feature, every time I hear Black Thought, he got something to say. You know what I mean? And a lot of these niggas don't have shit to say. They get on like a hot beat and just spit any old bullshit and they want to be on Mount Rushmore. It don't work like that. Now you know what I'm saying? You want to be on Mount Rushmore with the greats like Keras One and Chuck D, you gotta have something to actually say. You know, and this song was clever. I love the way that they did it. It was definitely one of my favorites on here.
The concept was way ahead of his time for '84. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next track, Forgive Me Girl. Very dope track right here too. You know what I'm saying? This is like another one of those, how can I put this? Another one of those lovey-dovey kind of songs, those doo-wop harmony kind of songs.
Forgive
Like,
me, girl. Sorry for what I did. Forgive me, girl.
you know,
Love it.
I can see New Edition doing this track.
Yes. Yes.
It definitely has a New Edition,
Yes.
and it's now I have to. It's not. I have to bring New Edition to this conversation too because I kind of felt like compared to the groups, New Edition was more popular. They had that more mass appeal. Where it's like with the Force MDs, people will look at them with the whole doo-wop feel and the whole early hip hop and everything. This was back at a time when hip hop was not really understood like that. You know what I'm saying? And then New Edition, they were the reason how they got away with it was because they really presented themselves as like a new edition of the Jackson Five, with adding a little chipmunky rapping and stuff like that too. They was like, oh, this is kind of cute. You know what I'm saying? You know that's what New Edition.
Right.
The Force MDs, they brought the other elements like the DJ and the
Right.
breakbeats and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? To put it bluntly, New Edition is to the Jacksons as the Force MDs is to the Silvers, if that
Right.
makes sense. And I'm not the biggest Silvers fan like that, but Silvers, they definitely had a more funkier kind of sound compared to Jackson.
And they have history together because remember, I think Lovers House was for New Edition.
Yeah,
They passed up on that. And but they actually have video of Ralph Tresvant on tour singing the song.
but y'all want to pick Count Me Out? Okay, that's nice.
Count
But
Me Out was great.
I like Count Me Out, but I was just like,
Wow.
I like Count Me Out. I'm not a huge fan of Count
What's
Me
the
Out.
shade with we throwing shade at New Edition tonight? Bro?
I'm not throwing shade at New Edition.
You didn't like Count Me Out as a single for them?
I mean, it was cool, but it was like my favorite track for New Edition. Like
that third. I always say that third album to me is the most underrated because I mean when you look back at it, it don't really have the big hits like the first two did.
yeah.
But I think with all the Bobby Brown shit that was going on during with that album, I think they needed more singles, but I do feel like Count Me Out was a great single from that album, and
It sounded like
a little bit of love is all it takes. They needed more singles. Sweet Thing should have been a single.
yeah.
Let's Be Friends has always been one of my favorites. That should have been a single. They got some joints on it, but I don't feel like it was promoted the way the first two albums was.
It's like Count Me Out.
They like when they perform, especially like their early shit. Candy Girl goes off on in any party. Popcorn Love, Is This the End? Jealous Girl, your favorite record from them. Mr. Telephone Man. That's like the biggest record from the second album. Other than Cool It Now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People want to see Bobby Brown perform that song. You know what I mean? But I always felt like they third album, for whatever reason, maybe it was the shit going on with Bobby, that it wasn't promoted the way the first two was.
I feel like it's that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, well, Count Me Out. It sounded like some shit you would hear on recess, like you jump rope into and stuff.
Right. And just the fact that even to this day, like I seen a post last week where they were I think it was the New Edition fan page. Like they were talking about that third album, and they were like asking people how many songs was Bobby on that album before he left. And I don't even know, because like it wasn't like a thing. Like we didn't have the internet back then, and they didn't make it known in the credits like what songs he was actually on. So I don't even know to this day what songs he's on, because he didn't do no lead vocals on that. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't tell you how many songs he was on before he left on that record.
Hey, I couldn't tell you either. And you know me, nigga say I know everything when it comes to music. I don't know
Not that.
I don't know everything.
They would have to tell us like how many records. I don't even think Bobby Brown remember how many records he was on that album.
Shit. All right. So now we're gonna go into the next track. Let's Stay Together. Ooh. This one was a fire track right here. And everything like that. You know what I'm saying? I love the beat to this one, the scratching and mixing on this one as well too. Um, was it Jesse? Yeah, Jesse. Man, Jesse was a problem, man. Jesse did his thing on this one as well too. But yeah, this one was pretty hot.
Yeah, Let's Stay Together was dope. I definitely enjoyed this one. This should have been a single to me too. I love the beat on this and the horn arrangements on this, the bass line. This is fire.
Yeah. Q said, "What about Cooling Now?" Cooling Now was cool. No pun intended. It was dope.
I'm talking about the third album, not the second one. This the second album, the big hit on there is Mr. Telephone Man.
I thought you were just asking what you thought about the song and shit.
Cool Now was great. It's a smash. I'm talking about the third album though.
Ah,
You know what I mean? I'm talking about the awful. There was Awful Love, the Awful Love album. And, you know how many songs was Bobby actually singing on? I don't even know.
mm. And the last song's "I Just Want to Love You." Next to "Tears." This is actually another one of my favorite tracks on this album. You know what I'm saying? And this is again the dope ass bridge when it comes to this track right here. You know what I'm saying? Which I wish I can pull up some of these lyrics, but but maybe I can. Maybe hold on, give me. But I'm still talking. But yeah, this one was like another. This one for the hip hop side of things. I like this one for the hip hop side of things and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, very, very, very dope track. Love it.
I think this should have been a single too. Um, I think it was just a dope beat. The vocals was fire on there. The synthesizers, great way to end the album.
Can we just appreciate the liner notes on this album? Like, look at that mess right there.
Yeah.
That gives me like some old Motown
Hmm.
vintage studio session kind of shit. That's a
Yeah. We don't
that,
have that now. We got well, y'all got streaming and shit. You know what I
like
mean?
I like October London, but let's not act like October London was the
Right.
first one.
Right.
But
Facts.
I like October London too. But uh, speaking,
Mm.
did you see the Tyrese video Shed sent you when him dressed up Marvin Gaye doing the national anthem?
Yeah.
I thought that was Lamar from BMF for a minute. I'm not gonna hold
That's wild.
it. But overall, very dope album. This album right here, definitely it did the assignment. It did the job done. And when it comes to like successfully talking about hip hop and R&B, especially in the early days, the rapping and everything like that too. I feel like this is like a nice, fun album. You know what this album reminds me of? Like, it reminds me of Coming to America when Hakeem and Lisa
Uh,
finally got together and Jackie Wilson's song "To Be Loved," which I love that record by the way. That "To Be Loved, To Be Loved," that record and shit. Like, this is the kind of album you listen to when you just walk in down the street like 8:53 p.m. and the full moon and stuff like that. You walking with your girl. You just getting off your third day, having a good time, and you finally kiss her and everything like that too. And then you feel all warm and bubbly inside and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm giving y'all so many details right now, but I don't give a fuck. But this is that perfect soundtrack for that setting and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, their best album is yet to come. That's all I'm going to say right now. But this is definitely a strong contender, and I would say this is the album you would start off with. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give this a 4.5 out of 5. It's
yeah.
a very strong album.
Great old school production. A great mix of R&B and hip hop, and the vocals were great from Jesse and TC and the rest of the group. And it's if you appreciate 80s rap in its purest form before corporate got to it, I think this is a great album. you
Def-
know um Let Me Love You was a big hit when that came out, and Forgive Me Girl. Tears was a great ballad. I Just Want to Love You. So for me, I'm giving it 4.5. I think it is one of their best albums, and you know more discussions on 80s rap need to happen.
that's right.
You know, I love to talk about Treacherous 3 and Grandmaster Caz and Sugar Hill Gang and all that, because that was rap in its purest form before corporate America got to it and shit.
Well, try. I'm gonna text you an early '80s rap album. We're gonna talk about next week. Now that you say that shit,
You
but
know,
don't say it out loud though.
there's other artists too. Dana Dane. Why doesn't nobody mention him?
Ooh, try. Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't
Cinderella,
understand.
thing. Come on, man.
When Nightmares came, Nightmares was my joint. You know what I mean? Dana Dane needs to be discussed more. Kwame needs to be discussed more. I don't understand. Everybody wants to talk about the same fucking album. Like I can't talk about Illmatic 24/7. I'm sorry.
That's why I tell you. That's why I say I'm different, man. Like I've been doing this shit for 10 years. Motherfuckers ask me to do. I'm like, nigga, I done that shit 6 years ago and stuff like that. Right. Forgive me if I want to be different, you know. But I sent you a text, by the way.
Yeah, dope. Yes, definitely. Fat Boys. Why they not discussed often?
Yeah.
JJ Fad. I mean, well, we talked about JJ Fad, but
we never did JJ Fad.
We never did. We never talked about JJ Fad. I thought we did.
Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't think you were a fan.
They did. They had their contribution to hip hop, man. Like, I mean, I know Salt and Pepper was like the best female group ever.
Because
JJ Fad did their thing, though. You know what I
mean? When I be coming up with some of the obscure shit, you like, man, what the fuck is this shit?
I mean, no, obscure shit to you is talking about fucking Bugs Bunny. I'm talking about when it comes to hip hop. I'm
saying music wise, nigga.
There's artists that need to you want to do the whole fucking Talking Heads damn discography that I don't think.
Talking Heads, believe it or not, they were also instrumental to hip hop too, believe it or not. So
yeah, for samples.
Not just for samples, man.
I don't ever recall hearing a Talking Heads album when they were rapping.
They were rapping, like the Tom Tom Club album, the Genius of. They were doing some rapping on that one. But I get what you said. They weren't Blondie like Fab Five Freddy's. They weren't on that Blondie level.
Oh man. Shit,
but yeah,
Blondie sounded like fucking a real MC on that shit.
Oh, well, she sounded like motherfucking She sounded like motherfucking Lady T or some bullshit.
Yeah, like how many fucking Nas albums I want us to talk about? Like, come on.
Exactly. But it's interesting. So the album that we're going to talk about tomorrow, it came out 20 years after this one, about 20 years. And we're going to see how hip hop and R&B coincided in 2004. It is Sierra with the Goodies album and shit.
Oh boy.
Which somebody, our good friend CD Galore requested for
somebody. Yeah, CD Galore.
We're going to do the double album review on Goodies and her first two albums just to knock that out. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how hip hop.
If I don't like it, don't get mad.
Hey, Nick, we're not pointing a gun to you.
You paid for this. You wanted to hear what Try's honest opinion on Sierra. Well, you're gonna hear about it tomorrow. Because I already told you I don't think she can sing. She's gorgeous on the eyes, but I've never looked at her like she was a singer. And the audacity of shows like Access Hollywood calling her the next Janet Jackson. Fuck no.
Ooh.
Never. She was never on Janet Jackson level. Janet Jackson at how old is Janet now? 60? At 60 years old could bust her ass.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Come on. Let's not disrespect Janet's legacy for Sierra.
Yeah, man.
So you paid for this, so you can't get mad at me if I tell you that I don't like the album.
Exactly.
God forbid I said I don't like Migos. You gonna pay for that too? Oh, Leah, let's get Charles' opinion on Migos. I don't like Migos. I'm already telling you. So if you want to pay for that, go right ahead. I'm gonna still tell you the same shit. Money or no money.
All right. But yeah, man, catch us tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We're gonna talk about the first two Sierra albums and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Next Sunday we're gonna talk about the Chillin' album Force MDS, which I really cannot wait to talk about that one because that album has my favorite Force MDS song. But we're gonna get ahead of ourselves. So yes. And then also this Wednesday too, we're gonna do our artist Breezy Wednesday. Yeah, so we're gonna do the second album from Chris Brown, which I gotta pull it out and shit. Hold on.
Part 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2.
Not you, Brother Lynch Hung. Sorry. You gotta do this one.
Okay.
I got the deluxe edition. This is actually
What?
It's actually one of the first CDs I've ever actually owned, believe it or not.
No boy.
Damn, this shit dusty as a motherfucker. Shit dusty as a motherfucker, man. Shit, damn. Fuck. That's how you know I haven't played this shit in a minute.
Mm. I don't blame
Shit.
you.
Any other than that, like I said, I've already finished the Talking Heads discography. I knocked out the last two albums and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can go check that out on my channel. Oh, I got a few more announcements. So the first week of September, we're going to talk about one of my favorite sitcoms. Da 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 da. Bum. Da 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 da. Married with Children. We're going to finally.
I'm about to say Matlock.
Oh, you like Matlock too?
No, I don't. I don't.
Honestly, Matlock, I'm not a big fan of it, but at the same time, I respect what it did. Like that white man always trying to solve a case. He was like the '80s version of Perry Mason and shit. And that theme song, I love that theme song though. That bump, bum, nah, nah, nah. Every time my dad comes home from fucking work, right? Every day at 10 a.m., this nigga, he'll come home, right? Watch Matlock in the heat of the night, the Waltons, every motherfucking day and shit.
Wow.
Like for years.
I didn't watch none of those.
Well, you didn't watch In the Heat of the You didn't watch In the Heat of the Night either?
Nah.
Oh,
I know the song. But
I guess me and Mike
like watch all that In the Heat of the Night and the Waltons.
I guess me and Mike. Oh, I didn't fuck with the Walton. I'm good on that.
Yeah, I
didn't watch that Little House in the Prairie kind of shit.
Man, I ain't like that either. No.
Man, Little House in the Prairie was like white trauma for whites.
Is that what it was?
It was like,
I thought it was a bunch of country niggas living.
It was like the white version of Good Times.
I ain't watching.
Now think about Little House of Prairie. Like all the mad things happen. Like once that blind lady got killed and shit like that. Once the little boy burned that house with the blind kids, I was like, oh hell no. Let me watch some comedy. Let me watch Sanford and Son. This is depressing my ass and shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, think about it. Think about it. Like Florida and James, they went through shit, but them Ingalls, the motherfucking Ingalls and shit, that was white trauma for white trauma and shit like that. Think about it. Like, nothing went well for no one. And at the end, didn't they blow up the whole town at the last episode or some shit?
I ain't watch it. I don't know.
I'm not asking you. I'm just talking in general. I'm just talking in general and shit. Like, but yeah, man. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna do Married with Children first week of September. Really cannot wait. Hopefully, it's a show Twilight.
Yes, it is. That's a show that I watched on Sunday nights.
All right. Yeah.
After the Simpsons,
Yes. Living Colors, Simpsons, that lineup right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna call this episode "The Middle Finger to the Conservative Nuclear Family of the '80s." That's what I'm gonna call the episode.
That's the title. Wow.
Yeah. See, that's why every episode I always come up with the interesting title.
I know we getting these weird titles.
I think my favorite one so far was Taxis. I think it was like a journey through a depressing, like journey through your dreams and the dark twisted ride, some shit like that. It was like, I don't know why I be coming up with some shit like that. I don't know how I be coming up with some of this shit sometimes like this. I don't like to be normal.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, cause niggas be like, oh, sitcom review, Taxi, sitcom review, Seinfeld, basic ass fucking shit. See, if it was me, like I said, living single, why friends old is success to living. So I some shit like that. But also last week of August is gonna be our Bruce Willis.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Bruce Willis week. Yes.
We don't wait till a nigga drop dead to talk about his stuff.
Stop.
We're gonna do it ahead of time.
Stop. That's gonna be in 2 weeks. I mean, we still gonna do music reviews here, like Bruce Willis's Motown album, which is something you have to see to believe. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey. It's Bruce Willis week. We're gonna honor the man one way or another.
I don't
If
think
we
you want to
can,
be honored with that. Oh man,
we're gonna do everything from Die Hard to Moonlight, and I cannot wait.
God.
And know that, and yes, me and Mike, we're gonna kill the Moonlight review, and
Yeah,
none of
I'm
you.
gonna be absent for that shit. Yeah, just let me know when you're doing the Die Hard stuff, and Death Becomes Her, and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I still might do Six Sense. That's still gonna be on the
That's a
list.
great movie.
If I do a finale, I'm definitely gonna do that one
Last Boy Scout
because
I watched. I didn't. It was alright. It wasn't something I was going back to from him.
this nigga called the album "The Return of Bruno." Oh, jeez.
Wow.
This,
Bruno,
cause Addison from Moonlight was always singing. This nigga's pretty much Addison. Addison just pretty much made the whole album. Oh, Jesus Christ, boy. But other than that, anything you want to say before we head out?
Nope, not right now.
All right. Other than that, I'm gonna put it frankly. All the Force and these albums are out of print, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the albums are not
Singles out
expensive.
of print. The
Yeah.
singles, the albums.
Yeah. So be on the lookout. They're not expensive though. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I definitely can't wait for that. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow night and everything like that too. I guess we're gonna go from early hip hop to crunk tomorrow.
Oh
So
boy. Oh, wait.
I really cannot wait for tries. See, these are the kind of reviews I really cannot wait for try because
I know. For some reason,
it's like
people are
it's like I grew up with this shit, but you slowly drifted away from this kind of music and shit. So
well, I didn't drift away from R&B. I wasn't listening to everybody in R&B in the 2000s. That's the thing.
I know, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Olivia and
Oh no, we're not gonna.
Ciara and Keisha Cole. They don't care for those people. Ashanti, and I was promoting Ashanti shit, and I wasn't listening to her shit. That's what's crazy about it. So
I feel you on that.
you know what I mean?
Other than that, hope you all have.
People want to hear. If that's the case, just pay us all the time. You want to hear my natural reaction to shit that I don't like? You might as well pay us all the time then. Right? Who wants to hear what I got to say about another Jay-Z album? We already know. Just pay us for shit that I don't fucking fuck with, like Flow Rider and shit like that.
Oh no! I ain't gonna do Flow Rider.
Hey, they paying us for it, right? We might as well.
Hey, that's gonna be over $30. I can't listen to 20 songs of a whole verse of ad libs.
I'm not even listening. I'm gonna just skim through the fucking Sierra album. I'm not listening to the whole Sierra album.
Got the apple bottom jeans.
I'm not listening to the whole Sierra album. I'm gonna just skim
You
through
hear the flow? I'd rather review a whole T-Pain album.
Yeah.
And now, let me know. Hold on. T-Pain got some heat though. Hold on. What am I saying?
Well,
That Three Rings album.
Hold on. Pay us for shit that I don't like T-Pain and Akon and them. You know what I'm saying?
I actually got Akon's first album too.
I know you do. Oh god.
But I was also thinking about doing a show, like a little show where I show the real me. I'm gonna do
what's the real you?
I'm gonna do a show called Life Changing Albums, where I talk about certain albums that changed my life, stuff like that, and just give where I was when I first heard it, certain albums that laid an impact on me.
Right.
So I might do like a mini series, like 20 episodes or some shit like that.
Oh wow.
I gotta find 20 albums that changed my life.
In your life, it shouldn't be hard.
Yes, it is hard. Cause I listen to everything.
What 20 impactful albums that for your life?
That's the thing. I listen to everything. I
know, but
even bad albums impacted me.
Oh Lord. Wow.
Because it influenced me not to make this kind of crap in my music.
But you still buy this shit to complete your collection. So
yeah, I buy this shit to complete my collection because I know why I buy this shit. Because I know nobody else is gonna buy it. So I was like, well, I feel sorry for it, so I'm gonna buy it. Shit, what?
I think you have sympathy for bad albums.
When I see a bad album, I feel like it's a lost pet sometimes. Especially if it don't cost too much.
Come on home. Come on home.
Like one time, let me show you something.
Yeah, I don't like Mace's sophomore album. Come on home. Double Up. You always have a homie. Not here. Mace's Double Up had to leave.
Let me show you something like this. Hold on.
It's like your house is like a foster house for like bad albums.
I've seen this album in stores for like 2 years before I bought this shit.
Nah,
Believe it or
because
not.
nobody like it.
This is what you mean. This is dope. What you mean?
I'm
Yo,
not a big fan
the
of Kumo
Kumo
D.
D,
I
the
really
Kumo D
was.
slander, the Kumo D slander got to stop.
Kumo D was cool. He was full of himself, especially in that book that he made. There's no way in hell you think you're better than LL Cool J. You know.
But yeah, man, it's like I don't think of it like it's just like this. It's like this.
You need a hotline. You need to start a hotline and tell people that you have a forced up program for bad albums. So if you don't like your bad albums and you don't want to throw them away, just send it to Reg. He'll take any old thing. He'll take any
That's
bad
funny.
album
That's funny.
from Mace's sophomore album to Foxy Brown's sophomore album to all the bad shit, all the bad shit that was ever created. Just send it to Reg.
I ain't going that far.
You'll take it. You'll take it in. You have a foster kid for them.
I'm talking about with certain artists I actually like.
Oh no, I mean this album, this artist that I love that I would never buy their bad albums. I would never buy Blueprint 3. That was just trash. I would never buy Magna Carta.
Yeah, I got Blueprint 3 for Christmas, man. Shit.
Yeah. I wouldn't even take it as a gift. Like, no, I don't want it. Not gonna play it. Don't need it. It's not necessary. It's taking up space.
Definitely. I knew it. There's deers outside my house. That's why my light keeps coming on.
Oh man, you got deers outside your house?
Yeah, man.
They greeting you?
I was like, my fucking porch light keeps fucking coming on. I was like,
The deers are outside because they want to know. They want those fucking bad albums that you got. You show it to them.
shit.
Put it out on the porch with them. They'll eat it.
I'm weak. All right. Other than that, y'all, hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Appreciate this try as usual. And I'll see y'all niggas later. Peace.
All right. Peace.